You are live. I guess I accidentally hit the button. Okay. I'm really not ready yet. I got to bring up the YouTube page, and then I'll go to the YouTube page and do that. Joey's going to be in here. I'm really not ready yet. I hit the button by accident. Okay. Joey's going to come in. We're going to talk today a little bit about toxic masculinity. And from the inception of toxic masculinity, what is toxic masculinity? You got to take the two words the way they are. And masculinity is the quality and the attributes regarding the characteristics of men. Toxic is a very harmful, unpleasant, or a pervasive or insidious way. We can't say it's toxic in the way of, say, poisonous. We can say toxic to very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive or insidious way. So they're saying that masculinity in some forms or ways is very harmful, unpleasant, and the attributes of a man are very harmful or unpleasant in a very insidious way. We have to think about that when we say these things. Toxic masculinity. It's so around. It's around the internet a lot, but I really don't think they realize exactly what they're saying when they're saying that, because when they're calling someone toxic or a toxic male or toxic masculinity, or using that, isn't that a term of hatred? Isn't that a term of, say, it would be exactly like a misogyny or misandry. By calling someone toxic, what you're saying is you're a misandric person and you hate men. Misandry, women that hate men. Toxic, by using the code word toxic masculinity, you're saying it's okay to be misandric, but it's not okay to be misogynistic. And and that's what we're talking about today. Let me, there we go. And Claire is in today, and I accidentally pressed the start button. Did you see that?
No. Can you
Yeah,
hear me okay?
so we're on air right now.
Oh, okay. Yes. So
Yeah.
you're doing hygiene too? You're doing personal hygiene as well?
Yes, I'm personal hygiene and culinary coach today. You know what I'm talking. I'm making fun of somebody that does. He just came out with a video about personal hygiene, so it's like I thought it was pretty funny. It's I'm 100% sarcastic on that.
Yeah, of course. So how's your day going?
I started out pretty good. I feel a lot better today. It was a tough few days for me, and after that, I'm better today. And when I got something to eat, we went down into Cleveland, went to one of the better Vietnamese restaurant. We went to a Vietnamese restaurant. I got these little wraps that I like to get, and we went to the Vietnamese store next door where they have all the nice noodles and stuff, so I can buy all my stuff I need to make it at home. So I did, and first time I've been in Cleveland for a while. And then I got back, rode my bike around a little bit, and here I am.
Yeah, I listened to your podcast this morning. I know you were feeling good.
Yeah, I was feeling like shit I had to turn everything off. My head hurt so bad. It was pain on top of pain. You know, I have normal pain from being my age and a working man all of his life. But on top of it, and then there was on top of that, the how it makes you feel and kind of disconnected and disjointed and sick. You know, being sick's never fun. It gives you that sickly feeling, and I just couldn't take it. I just needed to duck out and sleep for a few days.
Yeah, that's good. You get your rest. Yeah, helps get out of social media too for a while. It definitely. There's, don't carry the phone around or whatever too.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I turned my phone off. I can't remember what night, and I forgot to turn it back on. And my friend came over like yesterday, And he was like, where are you at? what's
Yeah.
going on? And I said, I just turned everything off. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take a single word from anybody on this planet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. It's good you recognize that, and take a
Yeah,
breath.
that's one of the things we recognize when what we're supposed to do. Before, I would have went on with life
Hmm.
and probably not recognized that I was having a sudden personality change. I was being grouchy. I was being mean. I was just being a man that's in pain, And if I didn't recognize that, I would have been out there doing all the things and trying to work through and probably damaging myself.
Hmm.
It's kind of on a real roll too. I was getting everything done before I got that shot, and I was kind of in a rhythm. I was in my flow, and that stopped suddenly.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get the vax. I don't think I'm going to do it.
Yeah, not think you're going to do it. I mean, you have to eventually, yeah, or either get the. It's going to come visit you sooner or later, or you get the vax, and that's the way I figured it was going to be. And at my age, I just assumed let's just get the vax, and but there are certain side effects to it that they don't like to talk about.
Yeah, it's with anything like any medication or even supplement. I don't know, maybe not supplements so much. Well, natural supplements too. They have some.
Yeah.
They're not perfect either. Anything that's not natural.
Right. I started one. I can't. Oh, the vitamin K. I started the vitamin K, and as much as people say it's okay and everything, it increased the pain in my joints like like twofold, and I had to
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah. Sure.
And everything comes with something. Either you can do it or you can't, depending on your body makeup and everything. But you got to watch it with everything you put in your body. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's why I'm sticking. I'm sticking with the raw. I went to Whole Foods yesterday. What a dump! I
Whole
was
Foods.
really disappointed. Yeah, because I was trying to find raw cheeses and
Okay.
raw milks, and they're just another garbage company. They're garbage. It's all shit, man. It's like
Yeah,
I
that's
found
Amazon.
some raw goat cheese, and that's it. It's like
Yeah.
that was tasty and good for you, but 98% of that store is shit.
Oh, Bob the Monk said, yeah, those stores are just put up sort of warehouses, and people can come in and use their Amazon cards and do it that way. And but they're just Amazon. It's just Amazon, and they keep their products close by, so when they do ship them, people the products only have to ship from neighborhood to neighborhood in their trucks rather than. So there's a
Yeah.
lot in those stores, a lot of products, and a lot of the products people only order them over online and everything. I didn't see last time I was in a Whole Foods. I really didn't see an organic aisle. But if you ask them, they'll say they have an organic aisle.
Yeah, but yeah, their products are all. It's just they're just tricking all these people into thinking that this stuff's healthy, and
Yeah,
it's really not. I mean, the best when I was traveling cross country, I was in Iowa, and I had some like grass-fed organic meat, like,
yeah.
and I ate it. I ate it right out of the package. It was delicious, man. It's so good. Like I found the perfect like thing to eat, and because it was so because it's nutritious, the raw meat and I had some raw cheese. The blue cheese is usually going to be better, but the thing is, the pasteurized milk is not as good for you. It's not. It's harder to digest.
Yeah, yeah.
If you go raw with the cheeses, and now I want to get into the raw eggs, but I just haven't got around to it yet. So eventually I'll start doing that.
Right, yeah. With any milk product or everything, I do my milk products in kefir and try to tail back. I don't drink glasses of milk or anything.
Yeah.
Everything that I do is either a kefir product, which is a yogurt product, or a little cream in my coffee, which is just kind of takes away the bitterness of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta just stay away from those toxins, like like our topic, all those toxic males. Like,
Yeah, toxic masculinity. Isn't it kind of a funny when you read the definitions of toxic masculinity? It's like it's like reverse misogyny, isn't it? It's like them just being able to get away with misogyny by calling
Yeah.
people toxic, because it has to do with a gender, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Masculinity is the qualities attributed to, regarded, and the characteristics of men. And toxic, they're using toxic two, not toxic one, harmful or unpleasant to in a pervasive way, in an insidious way. So they're saying the characteristics of a man are harmful and unpleasant in a pervasive and insidious way. And I don't think that's true at all. I think um, in masculinity in general is how we do things. We get things done. We build buildings. We
Mhm.
invent things. We use our masculine qualities for the good of the planet. And
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, so is toxic masculinity real? No, but if you really start looking it up, there's like 10 different ideas on toxic masculinity out there. Someone would say it was some the first definition you get is telling boys and men that it's not okay to have emotions and stuff like that, and that's sort of a lesser thing. And then there's the gender non the sort of LGBTQ idea of talk, and I think that's the one that most people kind of hinge to when they talk about it.
Mhm.
And that's more of a LBGTQ is more of a sexual thing. They don't like men, so what would they find attractive about men? They would find most men to be toxic.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yeah, if you don't like a certain gender, like I don't like the way men look. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing attractive about the way men look to me, and I'm supposed to be that way. I'm a straight male.
Right.
Uh, so
Diversity. There's no diversity.
yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a in that sense, I guess if you're confused about your gender and everything, and you have that sense of I don't like the way men look, uh, that would be toxic to you. And I don't like the way fat girls look or tattooed girls look, but I
Mhm.
don't go around saying that they're toxic because I have a feelings about that. That's more. That's more of an indictment of myself rather than them. If I would say that, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. I mean, this thing really bothered me because I was listening to that website I like, and I won't mention it, but it's supposed to be a quote unquote like kind of an enlightened, chat group.
Yeah.
They're red pill thinkers, and one chick came on there, and she's like, "Oh, it's all this toxic masculinity." And I was like, "Oh my God, you think you're like an enlightened woman? Like you don't know shit about what's going on and
Yeah, I think it's become more when they use it in that sense, it's become more internet hip to say that, and that
yeah,
make it cool. It's cool for them to say that so they can be in the in group like that, and then say they're woke, but it really doesn't mean when you speak on these things. I mean, we must adhere ourselves to AP rules. Knowing of something isn't about knowing about something.
right, okay, yeah, she doesn't, right,
Yeah,
right,
what could she possibly know about masculinity? What is it that she sees it and toxic? Can she explain any of the definition, or
yeah,
probably not. She's just being cool and kecky. Like what's his name? I can't remember. Who used to come around would say they're trying to do the keck and just to be
oh
cool.
yeah, ma said that,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, it's like they're being kecky. She thought that was kecky, and it was really kind of insulting, and it told on her.
That's right. Ma wasn't totally useless. He came up with some good things.
Yeah, yeah. I like
I'm
MA.
just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I like. Yeah. No, he did. He came. He did. He came up with that Keck thing. That was really strong. That was a really good one.
Yeah, he was dealing with the skeptics at that point before
Yeah.
he killed his
Yeah.
co-host. He murdered his co-host.
Oh,
And
okay.
they used to call us toxic, and then he murdered his co-host.
Oh, okay.
It's like, wow, you skeptics just took a big dive in popularity after
That
that.
was a real thing. That was really happened. Something like that happened.
Oh yeah, the skeptics used to come after us. That was what was that girl and the guy that was dating? She went by a kind of weird name, and he went by I can't remember their names. They're not as popular as they used to be. And
Not John the Other. No, not him.
no, not John the Other. Yeah, I like John the Other. He's a
Yeah, I like him too. Yeah, he's all right.
yeah, yeah. I was going to talk about John the Other and his about 6 or 7 years ago he put out a statement that, okay, if anybody can find any position in the United States where a man is in the same position as a girl, in the same position, in the same job, doing the same work, and a man makes more money, please send it to me and I'll believe you that this is going on.
Yeah, yeah.
In 8 years or 6 years, however, nobody has responded to him.
Yeah.
And Bernard Chapin, he's pretty. John the Other we're talking about. No, that was Bernard Chapin that did that.
Oh, okay.
And nobody's responded to that. And I thought, I hear it all the time. It was just in like a show I watched the other day that was from 2020, and they brought on like, girls are getting paid less in the same position, and I'm saying, well, send me that, and let me see that, and nobody can because it doesn't happen.
Yeah. It's just a way. It's just a way for these, people. It's for the rich, pretty much, to just control society. Create this myth of that the males are toxic, and then
right. Yeah. It's
I was control the narrative better
earlier today. It's just a way to safeguard women against unpleasant things.
But it cracks me up because I've been having some car issues, and I couldn't find one female mechanic to help me out. I know that. There's the toxicity in that. I had a guy today try to. He couldn't. It's like, I'm having trouble with the hood. I don't know. He was working on it for like an hour. He couldn't get it fixed.
Okay.
So, I threw him $40, even though he didn't do anything. He tried to fix it. Not that he didn't do anything, but he didn't fix it. But most women, I guarantee you, wouldn't have threw him anything. But I saw how much he was sweating in the heat, and I feel that's the least I can do is give him $40 for labor. And just
right, labor is still worth something. If you didn't do it, you can not fix something and still.
But I guarantee a woman wouldn't have gave him. She wouldn't have given him anything. She wouldn't have appreciated his effort, But I did. I saw how hard he was working to try to fix it.
What is the cable stuck inside the?
Yeah, well, it doesn't open the latch. You try to get underneath the car. He's not a mechanic. It's a Sunday. They're all closed. So I want to get it fixed as soon as possible because I have a coolant issue I wanted to take care of, and so I'll just have to go to the mechanic tomorrow. He'll be able to pull it up and.
He
told me to stop back, but I'll go to the same place tomorrow, and the mechanic will be there. So
I usually take some WD-40 and I stick that straw down and I loosen it up, and then the cord that goes up, I stick it in there and I tape it down real good, and then I put the can on there and I spray it up until it comes out the other side.
Yeah, I don't know what he did. I don't know why he didn't. He's just an 18-year-old kid. I mean,
yeah, it could be dented. It could be like out of place. Them things are kind of nowadays.
Yeah, they just one side just doesn't the latch is all screwed up or something.
Yeah, you got to oil those things off. And hey, lubrication is important.
Yeah, I know you used to do that, right? Lubrication stuff, yeah. So when it comes to like building a house, or you need your plumbing fixed, you need your HVAC fixed, so our male's toxic in those situations, if you need like someone to defend you in a situation,
right. Our masculine quality.
It just really bothered me because this woman is like, I listened to her phone calls and she's spot on a lot of things. Like she's really kind of awoke on a lot of things, but just to have that mentality and make that statement about toxic masculinity. Wow, that really, you're just doing a blanket statement.
That is a blanket statement. I was looking earlier. Let me go over the certain the aspects of it. Could mean a lot of things. Until you sit down and take a look at what people interpret it as. The first one's teaching boys that they can't express emotions openly. That doesn't seem like toxic, and that's the New York Times sort of thing. The concept of toxic masculinity used in academia and media discusses masculinity to refer to certain cultural norms. So they're saying the cultural norms associated with masculinity and is screwing up things somehow. There's an emphasis on certain traditional. Well, I can see a little bit in the traditional masculinities, like Christianity and that stuff, how it is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree with them in that sense. In the trad con male, is the trad con male a toxic male?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
of course.
he is. Yes, he is. The traditional conservative Catholic.
Not always. Well, not always. Not always.
Not always. Yeah, they can have.
Sometimes the woman wants to be in that position, you know.
Yeah, if she's a traditional conservative and she wants to be married and wants to be in that position, and she volunteers for it, that's okay until she unvolunteers.
Yeah.
And but then there's the notion of manliness from homophobia to aggression, which comes in to the LBGT thing. So that gets you stretching it out a little bit. And this is what we just call intersectionality at that point. They're stretching it to an intersectional. So into the LBGT would be sociology. And I don't even think it matches. That's a topic that is gray. It is a very gray area at best, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So, in terms of, yeah, and in most when we see it, it's masculines are violent and sexist. That's what they see as that, and that's like saying all males are violent and sexist. I don't think all males are violent, and and I don't rarely. I mean, I don't do sexism. It has no pay. It has no. Sexism doesn't pay. Why would I? I don't do things that generally don't do any. It has no rewards.
Yeah, it's a form of gaslighting and it's a form of shaming.
Yeah,
it's just really bothered. Like, you know what I mean? It takes a lot to really bother me these days, but that really.
Yeah.
She's got this sweet voice, and she like understands a lot about a lot of things, and she's not a dummy. But boy, when it just shows how brainwashed these chicks are. How they view men, right? It's like toxic, man. Like you would never say like you don't hear toxic femininity, right? You don't hear that, but that's
and I think that was a little while ago. We came up with, hey, some women are just assholes, and
right.
And it was shocking to say that. No one's ever said that, but now all women are assholes.
Yeah, well, I know. I think I know the person who said that on Hangouts. He may be speaking right now, but
yeah. So we get
Jeff and I joke around about that one, but yeah, and it's good to kind of start there.
Yeah, it's good to kind of
prove yourself. Prove yourself. Prove yourself. As a woman, you have to prove yourself that you're not one.
Yeah, are you not an asshole? Okay, that's the old. Just because it doesn't exist doesn't mean you can't prove you're not. Yeah, and I think one of the aspects of toxic masculinity, the negative aspect, exaggerated masculinity, like the IUD males, they always have that exaggerated masculinity. Now that, in a sense, is toxic because it's an immature quality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a quality of immaturity rather than masculinity.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. You hit it right there. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I think women can be immature too. It's like the mean girls at school. They're immature. They don't know. They're just mean, and they're just that's an exaggerated feminine quality.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know what you just call them the mean girls, or the the in crowd girls and everything. They just they're just that way. So that's a quality of immaturity. The same as exaggerated masculinity in boys would be a quality of immaturity. Now, when we start going back to the patriarchy, and they'll go, oh, toxic masculinity within the terms of the patriarchy. If anybody can prove to me that there's this imaginary patriarchy, that's where I think you get it, where it's a myth, because I'm not getting checks from imaginary patriarchy. They don't send me coupons at my door and like, ooh, look, I can get a swimming pool full of money from this patriarchy. There is no patriarchy. I mean, I wish there was, because, there's a lot of times that I could use some help from the patriarchy, but it was never there.
No.
So that's where the kind of myth of that general explanation, but you can see right there, as I went over them, there was 8 different explanations. How many more are there? Like you said, it's so broad. The interpretation is so broad. It's like, it's like, just make it up. Whatever bothers you, say that about men.
It's like my father. Like he, like when they came from Europe, he paid for the whole family's trip.
Yeah.
He was like 20 years old, but he was like, he was just, my dad was like this badass. He like worked in Germany and he did some construction work out there, and he just saved, he saved all his money and he paid for everyone's trip, right? So during when he passed away, like my aunt said, my brother would so my aunt became this like Wall Street, whatever investment banker, right? like down the line, like years later, right? So did well for herself. And she made a comment like, "Oh, my brother was a complicated soul. You should have seen my uncle. My uncle, like, he almost freaking like knocked her out, like at the funeral." It's like, how can you say something like that at a guy's funeral that pretty much carried the whole family? He carried like the whole family because he was just a badass, right? And she makes a comment like that at his funeral.
Right. Yeah. Well,
how immature, and she's supposed to be like the most educated one,
Yeah, she came to America, got an education, got a great. She
calls him a complicated soul, and I think that's like a nice way of saying that he was a toxic male. I don't know. I don't know. How would you interpret that?
That's another way to say he was toxic, because sometimes he was probably harsh in his ways, because
he had to be that way because he had to survive. It was survival, and it was not only for him, but he had to support my grandfather liked the wine, man. He liked the vino, and he wasn't, and so my father, he kind of carried the family at a young age, and she makes a comment like that. And my uncle, that he almost like he said something in Italian at the funeral. Like, what the fuck is he saying? Like, shut the fuck up or something like that in Italian.
Yeah.
Like, how can you? Yeah, it just bothered me, and it's like I kind of remembered that, and I'm like, yeah, he's right, and I wasn't even really a strong big fan at the time.
Well, that's part of Briffault's law, isn't it? And now, if we look at toxic femininity, we look at Briffault's law. Anything you do will soon be forgotten, and it doesn't matter what you did in the past. Everything matters what you did. What you're going to do for him in the future. That's Briffault's law. And that's what she was. It didn't matter what he did in the past. Now he's gone and he can't do nothing for me. So that's a perfect explanation. So when we look at toxic femininity and Briffault's law, hey, we can do this all day and make this hear about it every day in the media if men want to push it. But we really don't do that as men. We don't push like every day. Come on, like just harp on Briffault's law.
It's funny that Sam Ann, she called me like this about 20 years ago. She called me a male chauvinist.
She called you a male chauvinist?
Yeah, because I was like, I was always like kind of this confident.
What truth did you hit her with?
It was like at a Thanksgiving dinner, and she was like, well, I guess I was more of a trad cuck then, but I was also very confident, aggressive, assertive, masculine. That's how men should be. I think you should be confident in yourself. But to her, I was like a threat, probably, or I don't know what the deal. I don't know what her deal was. She called me a male. Are you a male chauvinist?
Yeah, well, narcissism. Females often confuse aggressive and confident as narcissistic because they really don't have a lot of them qualities. So they see it as like narcissism, and it's not really narcissism. It's just being aggressive and confident, and that's a male quality.
Right.
And it's not a bad quality either. Being aggressive, and when you need to be aggressive and confident, is a very good quality.
Did you ever hear a guy named John Tortorella? He's a NHL hockey coach. I don't know if you heard. He used to coach in Columbus.
Yeah.
He just got fired yesterday. So I get this thing on the wire. John Tortorella. He just got fired from Columbus. He was
The
a
Blue Jackets.
NHL.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was there 6 years. He got fired yesterday. So I'm looking up Tortorella, and my manager, who was a Navy commander, he's a really good guy, and he was talking about Tortorella like before, and I gotta look up this guy Tortorella, see what he's all about. So I'm typing in like Tortorella, I'm watching his videos, and the guy is just great, man. He's doing these interviews, and he's so like honest and assertive, and calling people out, and it was just great, man. I highly recommend people watch that, because it sparked a joy in my heart that there's men out there still like him, right? That can just say it like it is,
Yeah.
And
that's not very
so
popular with the millennials. They don't like that kind of.
they would say he's a toxic masculine.
They would say he's toxic
personality. But when you watch him, he's just being honest with you.
Issues and
Yeah, reporters are asking him stupid questions. From Boston, Massachusetts, this guy Tortorella, and he was like a 5'8". He wasn't a big guy, but he played professional hockey. I don't think he made it to the NHL, but he played. He was like he played at the University of Maine. He was like All-American. Great hockey player, tough guy. And it's just these, but you got to watch these YouTube. Like, it's just great. It's just great. And but again, I think I interpreted it. To me, it was like, oh, this guy's a great role model. This is how a man should be. Be confident, and he called people out for their bullshit. But a woman would watch that same video and they would say, oh, he's a toxic male.
He's a toxic male. Yeah. The media has a lot there. They don't like to be told they're. The media hates to be told they're wrong.
He won the Stanley Cup with Tampa in like early 2000. So he's a good coach.
Yeah.
He's not a goofball. But yeah, I definitely recommend that. It's got a bunch of short videos on it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't come through on my feed. I always thought
Tortorella, it was on ESPN.
Yeah,
that's Columbus. Yeah, it's Columbus hockey team.
Yeah. Usually things in Ohio come through on my feed, and
He's just great though. He had this one line. This reporter asked him a question, and he said, "Oh, you're the kind of guy that got beat up at the bus stop, right?" Said something like that. He goes, "You ever been in a fight?" He goes, what? He goes, what does that mean? What do you mean? He goes, well, because he was defending his player, because his player got in a fight, or one of the hockey, because that's hockey, you fight. It's a physical game, and shit happens. And I guess the reporter was calling that player out for the fight or something. And he said, "You ever been in a fight?" He goes, my guy was, he was defending his player, and then he goes, "You're the kind of guy that was that you got beat up at the bus stop, right?" Like you said, I love that kind of stuff, because that's just being straight up. Hey, you know what? This is how I am. This is who I am. And if you don't like it, it's not my problem. It's like, I'm not going to be disrespectful, but
yeah,
I think it's good to have that. I think it's good to have that personality type. I think that's what this world's missing is those people that are going to be frank and honest, and
right,
because we have too many of these people walking on eggshells, like especially men.
I don't understand the idea of the enforcer in hockey. It goes over their head. He's getting in fights for a reason, to protect his team.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's fighting. The enforcer fights to protect his team. That's his job, and that's the alpha male. That's another really good quality. Imagine if you were at work and someone came in and started yelling at everybody, and the alpha male jumped up, and all of a sudden he fought him and fought another. Would that would be a good quality then, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the work would be like, "Oh, thanks," because that guy was about to hurt somebody, and they're like, but as long as you're sacrificing for the greater good, they can't see how that works out into hockey. The ideology, you're fighting for your team,
right.
Tortorella
talks a lot about that, about respect. He talks a lot about respect, like about
he's
not out there taking cheap shots and.
Right, soldiers go off to war because they're fighting for their team, so the people back home here don't have to. they're fighting for them, and a lot of people have forgotten that fact too.
Yeah, but So I don't know, man. That really she really irked me, man. That comment, man. It's like I was gonna call in the show myself, and but they think they're so enlightened, these women.
Right.
Yeah, we're enlightened because we
Yeah,
see
sometimes
hot
I don't think
males.
I don't think most of these when they flippity throw out terms like that. When you call somebody a misogynist, especially in a social schema or a social program, you call a man a misogynist, you better have a good reason to call him a misogynist. He better display the qualities of misogyny. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because when you call someone flippantly or kecky a misogynist, what you're saying really is you have an opinion. Your intuition. You're having an intuitional opinion. And intuition is always an opinion. You're having an opinion about another gender, and that is misandry. So you're displaying qualities of misandry if you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody calls them out about that. Like I heard, I can't remember. It was like one of those. What was her name? It's the Young Turks. What's her name on the Young Turk?
Oh, I don't know. She's bimbo. I know. I
Yeah,
don't
she
know.
called someone misogynistic. And you know who else? Oh, the Congresswoman from New York, there, AOC.
Oh yeah.
She called one of the other party misogynist, and then I looked at him and I said, "What quality of misogyny does he display?"
Right.
And then I asked myself that, and they said, "No, he wasn't. She's just being," and that in itself is admitting that you are a misandric person, and
Yeah.
she's a misandrist, which is equal to. And if we want to have true equality, people have to when somebody in the news or Congress or something like that say something flippity like that, somebody's got to call them out for that and say, you are being equally as toxic by saying that.
Yeah.
But nobody calls them out.
No.
Well, yeah, because of the toxic media.
It's terrible. I know. I try not to. Yeah, I don't even pay attention.
Yeah, men aren't allowed to tell the truth. They're not allowed to dissect problems and get to the root causes of things and come to truth anymore, because they might be an unfriendly truth for some people.
I mean, quite honestly, if you're watching Fox News, CNN, NBC, CBS, ABC, you got issues. I think. I think because if you can't see through that to their propaganda, you got problems.
Right. Yeah. That's there's a lot of rhetorics, and every time I listen to the news, I just look for the rhetorical statements and everything, because it's kind of a fun search for me. It's like, oh, that's wrong. Their thinking is not right about that, and that doesn't run no true. What you got to do is, before the Ayers case and George Bush Sr., the first thing he did when he came in is one of the rulings was opinion news. Five media, the five journalists from Florida sued the six major satcoms at that point because they said, you're not telling the truth about the news. And then the United States the high court, the Supreme Court said that news is just somebody's opinion, so they don't have to tell the truth. And that's been that way since. And you have to get, when you watch the news, you have to realize it's just opinion. It's someone having intuition. It's somebody having feelings. It's their opinion. It may not be true. It doesn't have to run. Before then, there were logistics people that ran all the articles under truth tables to make sure they were true. And then you ran your story after that was done. That was the editor's job in the editor's department to run things through truth tables. That's Boolean logic. You have to run it through a truth table to make sure they're saying, not all truth tables end up with a truth. A false plus a false is a true. But you get you closer to the truth. but they don't do that no more. They don't pay people like me to do that and do that kind of, I have that kind of skill. And they just wanted to eliminate a bunch of jobs, basically a lot of male jobs, because men think that way. Men think to the truth.
Yeah.
And women think with intuition and opinion. So now we have a female-oriented media.
Well, we can go into like another topic too with the Gnostics, with this Sophia thing,
So
the mother God or whatever. And I'm not trying to
mother God, when it just got.
I'm not trying to disrespect Gnostics or anything, but they're just another religion. I mean, come on, give me a break here. It's like, you're just another belief system. Don't think like you have a exclusivity to truth. I mean, all apologies to Johnny Midnight, who I really like.
Yeah.
It's like you don't. You wake up out of your fantasy fictional world that you're in. And like we were talking about, yeah, God. If there is a God, yeah, he probably is a mother. It probably is a female.
Yeah, I said earlier, if there is a God, it probably is a female, because she refuses to take accountability for her mistakes.
Right, exactly.
It's like, yeah, a bunch of hyenas rip apart a little child. Oh, yeah, that's definitely a female God, because he screwed up on that one. We have an immature God, too. We have an immature God that makes mistakes. Look at some of the stuff out there.
Yeah.
So
Valley just saying that Sophia is not the heart of Gnosticism. Well, I mean, I heard differently from people.
Sophia.
Yes, but so he knows probably more about it than me. But so I would think, I'm hoping nature is more of a, I think that's where,
Sophia was Plato.
Nature. Yeah, nature to me is the real true, that's where you can find creator, right? I think more than anywhere else. In nature, I think. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about Plato when we talk about Sophia. We're talking about biblical Sophia. Wisdom. Sophia is wisdom.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sophia is the feminine. It's also so Sophia with an F is feminine name, god of Sophia, wisdom.
But I was leaning towards that Gnosticism because I think it is closer to, more of the truth. But at the same time, I'm not an idiot. I know. I feel like it's still just another religious, ideology.
Yeah, it depends how you look at it. When we look at one of the things I noticed with Jordan, what's his name, Peterson, Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Is when he put up that he was talking about that, and the thing that was in back was Sophia. It was the mother god of Sophia under female wisdom, and then so you could see from him he was really just kind of influenced by that whole female god thing, and you can see he's having a mental breakdown since his whatever was happening to him. I mean, before that, I thought he was pretty much a genius, but then after that, he kind of fell apart.
And that's Jordan Peterson. Talking about Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, that kind of thinking when it goes astray. And he was defending the classic TradCon. He is the classic defender of the TradCon nation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sophia is just wisdom and knowledge. It's the same as epistemology, or no matter what you say. That's why I say most philosophies, if you take the words, are all interchangeable, and that's where we come an incommensurability. We may be talking about two different words that have the same meaning, or somebody looks at a word and says, "I interpret that differently." That's why we all got to get on the same page. That's what the philosophy of science is about, everybody getting on the same page with our language.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be Kuhn.
Okay.
So, but the farther we drift away into like Gnosticism or Western esotericalism, we start using a different term. We start using words in different ways, and that is problematic.
Well, it's also creating like a fight, right? these traditional religions versus Gnosticism. It's just another.
Right. It opens the door to religious beliefs and the metaphysics, and
Yeah.
I just don't want to go down that road.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I was just bringing it up because of the Sophia thing, and like she's like this mother goddess.
Yeah, if you take it back to the original Greek, or the portrait of the name in Greek, but basically, if you use it like Plato would, it's just wisdom. It just means wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah. Which yeah, harder and harder to find that in people, right?
Yeah, and wisdom is an interesting topic because, I mean, wisdom sort of one of those things that is when you think somebody is wise, when you say this is wisdom, you're really you're interpreting it, you're having intuition that it's wisdom, because most of the time you really don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a to say somebody is wise is an inflection. It's in those things. You have to start looking whether they're being honest or whether they're being what's the word I'm looking for, whether they're just kissing ass.
Yeah, they have
There's a dark side to these things too.
What's the word? Yeah, what's the phrase? Like what's the
Yeah, I'm looking for a specific word on that. You're being
preconceived, like you're being making assumptions, kind of thing. Like
you're just kissing your boss's ass to be getting his good graces and stuff. That's ingenuous.
Yeah,
you're being ingenuous.
Yeah,
Disingenuous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like everyone just wants resources, and doesn't matter how you get it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just that whole thing, toxic masculinity. Wow, it's just it's just so annoying. So annoying, like all the stuff that men build and
Yeah. Look what I did back there. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, the dirt back there.
Yeah, look, I molded that with my hands, and
is that the factory? Is that the factory that we used to be there?
Oh, that's what. Yeah, if I took this down, the factory, that's about 10, 15 miles of just that dirt. There is ash, steel ash.
Wow.
And see that factory way back in the distance? In the middle, you can see that. See how far off it is? That's how much fly ash they dumped over 100 years.
Unbelievable.
And it's a better part of Lorraine.
Wow. So I was in the Midwest, and it's just like, wow, what a talk about desolate. Like,
it looks like a desert there, doesn't it? And well, you can look at some of the other pictures from maybe a mile away from that, and it looks like Ohio. Like Ohio's green and Ohio's lush, and I mean, but that's what you call a brownfield there. That's a brownfield.
There's parts of like Iowa and Kansas. Oh man, I can't. When I drove through Iowa, I was like, man, I was like, oh gosh, it's like zombie land over there. It's like, it seems like even parts of Illinois and
Iowa, yeah, Kansas, and it's dry, and it just the dirt's fading away, and there's
it's terrible. I wanted to get out of there as quick as possible. Then when you hit Colorado, it's like you're back to life again,
Yeah, you're back to more of a greener, lusher, like Ohio, or where we come from. It's just green and lush everywhere.
Yeah, Denver's pretty good.
Yeah, and you get into California, well, you have to go through the Mojave and
If the East Coast weather, if it wasn't so bad in the winter, I would stay. The winter is just too much for me. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I got to get away because winter hurts a lot. I mean, my furnace broke, and I still haven't fixed it. And those 50-degree mornings and stuff, and those 40-degree mornings, I woke up this morning, it's 40 degrees, and I have to turn on. And right after that, my little Eden pier that I use, that broke, and that's another $200. And then it's like now I got you know, breakage on. So I pulled another little furnace heater out, and I was running that. So it's just, man, these are things it could kill you here if it goes down, and you don't have a heater on.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. They'll put your heat off. They don't care.
They don't care, and yeah, so I got to fix that, and I got to. These are things you have to be up on. That's
Yeah.
there's not an ease of living here anymore.
No.
Either
No.
you have gas and you have a furnace and you have it in good repair, and and there's things that go along with living here too, like the roads, the streets, your driveway. Even going out is in the winter, that's death out there.
Yeah.
If you get caught, you always put an extra jacket in your car. You always put a blanket, something way to keep yourself warm if you stall. Them are certain things we do because we know, it's death out there.
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of places, Florida, up there, you're not going to die if you're outside.
No, California has tons of homeless people. So does Nevada. Like, it's so hot. It's just, the heat. I was talking to the guy today. He's like, "Oh, this heat is too much." Like, he was saying how he didn't like the sun. He says too much sun here. It's like, really? He's like, "Oh my gosh, man, go to the Northeast for a few years and then tell me how
you'll appreciate it." Yeah, and once you get into other problems, like problems with water, you have to have enough water to survive.
Right.
That's where it becomes a problem, huh?
Right, but there's always water. There's just enough technology,
I was once working on we were building a pipeline from the Mississippi to the desert, and we were all going over the engineering, what it would take to engineer that. You can only pump water so far up and stuff like that in such volume, and people think that's an impossibility, but I mean, we pump oil for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, but we can't put in a water pipeline.
Yeah.
And that would really help with the flooding there in Mississippi from the Ohio Valley down to, when it does start, you just turn that thing on and fill some lakes up there in the desert. But nobody wants to do that. I have it figured out too, with a system of small lakes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go from pump it to a small lake, pipe it that lake to another small lake, and then you go up or down the way you have to. And I figured it out one day. Well, not one day. It took me about a month to figure out how to get the pipeline through. But nobody listened to me.
No. They all got their own agendas.
Yeah, you know what the pipeline could be powered by? Wind power too. You can put pumps instead of motors. Just put pumps on them.
Yeah.
And you can pump water from wind power, or you can convert it to a pump if you want, a series of pumps.
They make so much money, these energy companies. They you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not really, they're not. It shouldn't cost that much for energy.
Yeah. No, energy is going to be, it's dino fuels and coals are going to be a thing of the past. And matter of fact, I just put up all solar lights around my house, and I use battery power on my bike, and it gets me everywhere I want to go for 4.5 cents a charge, and that's much more economic than they'll say, well, you got to use the energy they produce, and I said, well, I can produce my own energy if I wanted to. I think I can produce 4.5 cents of energy a day if I wanted to.
Yeah. What else were you talking about today in your podcast? You said another topic. I forget what it was.
Yeah, I can't remember what I said. That's a topic for another day. I was going off into another. I just have to go back and relook and see what that is. I kind of stumbled on something that surprised me earlier, so I wanted to rethink that about how everything's kind of intersectional, and it all comes down to the same idea that we're always trying to please women. And I wanted to go over the language that I used on that, and so I'll go back to later and listen to that, and then kind of put down the footnotes and where I wanted to cut that quickly because I didn't want to go down that road because I wasn't prepared.
Yeah. 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 Today was about personal hygiene.
Personal hygiene and culinary coach, yes. That's funny.
Joyce stealing bitcoins.
Yes, and Dogcoin. I just read right before I was talking to you earlier that SpaceX was going to take Dogecoin from Elon Musk to do the next rocket to the moon. And then I thought, well, that's like sending $1 billion worth of doggy coin to the moon. And that's what a waste of money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a joke. Who knows? NASA, all these things. They're all, I don't know. Are they even legitimate, these organizations? I mean,
and I think people, when Elon Musk was on SNL.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No, because I think when he was saying these things, he was trying to be humorous, and people don't interpret Elon Musk as being humorous. They take him seriously, even when he says something sarcastic.
He does have strange features, though, you have to admit.
Yeah, he does have strange features, and
he's kind of a weird looking dude. Yeah.
As far as the billionaires go, he's probably the one I respect the most. Before he was Elon Musk, the billionaire, he was Elon Musk, the really smart guy.
Yeah.
He is the really smart, nerdy guy that he knew how to do things and get things done. And I think that's what he'd rather be remembered as, rather than the billionaire that sends things to Mars.
Yeah.
But SpaceX is kind of cool, isn't it? Did you see what happened yesterday with SpaceX? They put 60 satellites up.
No.
And then all of a sudden there are people reporting that they seen a string of aliens in the sky, and people never associated that with the SpaceX launch. It was like, man, people are retarded.
Who knows? Yeah, that whole alien thing. I don't know. I don't see. Where's the evidence? I don't see that. Where's the evidence?
There is no evidence, and they make it up as they go.
I know. I think it's all made up. I think these people are just making this shit up so they can sell books and.
Yeah.
I don't see. Yeah, I don't. This whole thing about these Anunnaki and all these.
Right. That's where the Western esotericalism kind of goes.
It's all fantasy.
Yeah, it's all fantasy fiction, and it goes off hinges, and there is no wisdom in that, because you can take an eclectic, an assortment of eclectic ideas and kind of put them together. Them generally kind of flow, and there's no wisdom in that. That's just you're buying into too many things. You're buying into too many concepts.
Right, because I spent a lot of time when I was in the East Coast for last 3 years. I spent a lot of time in the woods, in nature, and like a lot. Like I'm talking like 10 to probably 30 hours a week. But not as much as you, but maybe, but because I wasn't working for a while, so I was able to get out there.
Get out and do that, and
but the thing is, like, you're just in nature, and I'm going. I'm seeing all these trees and all these birds and dogs and whatever, like turtles and butterflies, and it's like, come on, you tell me there's like, and then so they talk about all this metaphysical shit.
Yeah, it kind of
there's no evidence for it. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. It really is. The whole thing. Like, there's a lot of books on it, and
when I go out in the woods, what I look at is everything here is real.
Right.
And how do I explain the terrestrial earth that I live on? How do I go out there and I look at the things and I dissect what's real, what's not real. There's no metaphysics out there. There's no love. There's no there's no social ideas. I'm just a man out in the woods.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's no social ideas that's attached to me. I'm not toxic male. I'm just a human out in the woods. That's when you can get your best ideas about, what Marcus Aurelius said, like let's just keep it simple and keep it honest.
That's right. And we're the apex predator because we can carry that. I can carry my Glock and my rifle if there's a bear that's going to attack me or whatever, right?
Yeah, where living out values is, where is the source of reality? What's the, it's like
Right,
when you're in the woods, there's trees, there's dirt, there's rocks, there's things that you can hurt, there's coyotes,
right. Fish,
there's
water, yeah.
predators, there's water, you're doing
Beautiful.
whatever you're looking for, and you're looking for resources, and that explains a lot about life, and it becomes very real.
Right, right. That's right. Right. Because I come back here to a major city. I won't say where I'm at, but you get
Yeah,
the
do you know that? Remember that
like,
feeling when you walk out of the woods and then you're
yeah.
back into society, and you're
Oh,
looking.
people are crazy. Okay, now where I was in the East Coast, that wasn't the case, right? With
Yeah,
the city I was in, the people are very down to earth, but now I'm in a city where it's so plastic and fake, and
that plastic, that
like you
pavement.
see these women with the makeup, and oh my
It's like
God,
every word that's spoken is like some. They think they're enlightening. It's enlightening other
yeah,
people or something.
yeah, like toxic masculinity. Like when you're in nature, nobody cares.
Nobody cares about.
Yeah,
Matter of fact, in nature, it's for me to get out of some of the places I go to, I have to display an aggression. I have to display, I have to go up these hills that are and down these valleys that are. I mean, I showed you some of them. It's very hard to get in and out of those places. People don't go there for a reason.
yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, the toxic masculinity would be a plus in that saying. Me just
Right,
being
right.
aggressive.
You want that toxic, right? You want that toxic masculinity when you got like it's like
Like
these guys. It's like these paisans in New York City. They were talking about how back in the day, like nobody, like in their neighborhood, when the crew was running stuff, like you could walk 2 o'clock in the morning. You could walk a female could walk down the road and not have any problems, and because nobody dare mess with it, right? So nobody would dare mess with her. But now I see these guys out all the time in the city I'm in. They just act like they think they can just
above it
do
all.
whatever they want, say whatever they want, and act crazy. And there's a lack of respect and community, and
Right, and that's just immaturity, as I think that what they're talking about is there's a lot of
yeah,
immature people in the world. Don't associate immaturity with masculinity. Uh,
right, right, right,
I mean, I talk about aggression all the time when I ride, and you have to be super aggressive. Like when I hit a drop in, and I'm going down the valley, and I'm dropping in, and I got to be real focused, and I got to be real aggressive. And
right, right,
that's a plus, and people should
right,
appreciate that in me.
right.
If you bring that sort of thing to work, then man, we're doing good.
Right, in a lot of ways, right. It's like using masculinity for good. It protects communities. Like I was talking to this woman, she cut my hair, and we were talking about like the community, and she says, well, there's 3 gangs in her community, and they all fight each other. And I said, well,
Right.
I was saying something like, and she goes, that's why there's a lot of crime. There's a lot of crime in the city she's in, right? And I just happened to be there to get a haircut, whatever. So and she was saying how they should all come together and cooperate more and whatever. But I would say, well, in my community back in Central New York, I said we don't have that in my neighborhood. I said we don't have that type of
No,
crime.
people deal with it. They deal with
Yeah,
it.
we yeah
We
we don't call the
identify the
cops. We
gangs.
don't yeah we don't call the police. We just handle it ourselves. And we
Yeah,
really do that. That's what we do, and that's why.
right.
But they're all fighting each other and acting crazy and
Yeah, and when you talk about that within that realm, you're talking about gang violence within the gangs. You're not talking about gang violence within a community. The community is probably peaceful. The gangs are the violent. That's what
right, right,
you're associating the gang violence with the community, and that's wrong. You got to think
right,
about that in a total different way. Why are these boys in these gangs? Well, most boys
right,
join gangs because there's a lack of masculinity in their house, so they look for
yeah,
the gang to replace the father image or the masculine mentor image.
uh-huh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if women would start looking at that, oh, you have gangs in your neighborhood because you probably have a lot of baby mamas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. and then drugs come in, and drugs come in with feminism, and the drug becomes a prevalent way for these gangs to make money, and then all of a sudden the gang is a father figure, which is a mentor figure, which shows them how to make the money and how to be men and how to be masculine, and then that becomes the culture. But that all starts with one thing. It starts with the mothers. It's like it starts with how they behave, and that baby mama thing, and how many brothers and sisters from other fathers do they have?
Yeah.
That's where that shit starts from. And you see gangs prevalent in urban areas, because a lot of baby mamas are in urban areas.
It's funny because this lady was a barber. She got like a reverse, like, I don't know how this happens and if it's even true, but she said that she lost like her divorce, like she had to give money to the man. Does that make any sense? I mean, I guess it happens. Huh?
You have to be what kind of horrible person you have to be, like K-Fed and Britney Spears.
Well, she got custody of her children. She said it cost her. I don't know why she's telling me all this information. I just like whatever. But she lost a lot of money on the whole lawyer thing and getting custody of her kids. And the husband was a goofball, I guess, or I don't know if he's a gangbanger or whatever he was. But
how did he get the kids? If that doesn't make.
She got the kids. No, she got the kids. She got the kids, but she said it cost her a lot of money, and then she had to give him some money. Because he was such a low life, I guess. I don't know. That's what the story she was saying. But I know I know she could be.
Yeah, she's probably lying. She's probably thinking about what it costs her to get a lawyer, and he cost me that, and she still got the kids, and he's still responsible for child support, and she's just trying to reverse it, and she's feigning
being the victim. She's the victim.
She's feigning being a victim, right?
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
the male is actually the victim. He's the slave in the situation, and he's being, she filed for divorce. She's moving on to baby daddy number 2, and he's the victim because he's going to become the slave. I mean, that's the way it is in reality. Now, that would be a idea of Sophia.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, that's the truth. That's wisdom there. But females do lie, and that's.
Oh yeah. I know that.
I mean, yeah, and she's protecting her. She's protecting it, like I was talking about earlier. Is what she's doing is she's protecting her integrity.
Yeah, it's just I've heard that actually a couple of times, where another woman said she had to give money to the. I heard it through a third party, because I'm not having these conversations with women. I mean, the bar that I did, she spilled out her beans. I just came here to get a fucking haircut. I'm telling your life story.
Haircut.
Yeah. Just cut my hair. I haven't had it cut in 4 or 5 months. I'm going to be back in the interview circuit. I don't want to hear some bullshit.
Yeah.
Then I heard it from another third party. Like, this woman had to give money to her husband. But I think you're right. I think those stories, they're just probably lying because they want to be the victim.
They want to be the victim. Yeah, they're protecting their integrity, because they don't want to seem like they just did that for the monetary value. So if they turn it around and tell a story like that, it's like, I would never do that to him.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, I know I'm not naive compared to most men, but there's some parts of me, I guess I still need a little fine tuning.
Yeah, because there's probably another man now, and he's baby daddy number 2, and
right. Are they looking at me as potential baby the next one?
Right. Yeah, she's probably telling you that, and looking at you like you're a potential suitor for that baby daddy number 3 position.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
and that just shows how crazy how women are just.
I once had it was common when I was doing the drug and alcohol. I once had a woman say she smoked crack for her kids, and she was doing it for the kids, and she really believed that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how kind of messed up they are in their head. And it was all due to the divorce. So she was doing this to get rid of him, and she was smoking that crack to get rid of him, so she can do it, because he was such a bad person that that she did it for the kids. That's how she perceived that, and that's such a lie.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's how the depth of the female mind that they can, and someone's going to believe that,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you got a split V right there, and he's going, "Oh, I'll believe anything you say, baby."
Well, that's incredible. They're always the victim. Women are always the victim. They're always playing the victim card. Always playing the victim card.
Yeah,
well, they do that projection too. They like to project. It's a concept.
Yeah.
They're the ones victimizing men, and yet they want to be looked at.
Right. They don't want people detecting that was a scam. They're just being selfish and polygamous, and all they really want is dick. They want to move on to the next dick, and they don't want people saying the truth like that. That's a stoic truth there. I mean, that would be where, they would say, "Oh, you're being toxic." No, I'm not being toxic. I'm being really, really honest. I mean, she's a horrible person, and she's moving on for dick.
Right. Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible. More men don't see this, and
right. I mean, we have to get back to where Marcus really say it the way it is, and that's what
say it the way it is. John Tortorella. That's the modern day Marcus Aurelius.
say it the way it is. And
Tortorella and Aurelius. And
it's going to be a non-friendly comment to some people, but for some people, it'll be a wisdom and it'll be wisdom and honesty.
Well, it's like it's like those guys. Like, do you ever did you the guy that got beat up at the bus stop? It's like, it's like, well, I think like my friend and I used to have a saying like why certain men act the way they do, and we say like, well, they never got punched in the mouth. They don't know what it's like to get punched in the mouth. Because right. I mean, I play a lot of sports or whatever. I got tossed a little bit when I was a kid, and whatever, right. So a lot of these guys that act the way they do, they've never been punched in the mouth, or never been in a fight, or never had to fight, or I think that I'm not advocating fighting, but it comes a point where they act that way because they don't know what it's like to get their ass beat. They don't know what it's like to get their bell rung. I've had concussions and playing football and saw stars, and I finished out the game. Like back then, like it wasn't a big deal. You just finished the game. And it's like, so the men today are just so I don't know. They're just not very. They don't stand up for themselves. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm not trying to make fun of men, but they don't stand up for themselves.
Yeah. It's a if we are talking about masculine, that kind of masculinity where we compete, and there's fisticuffs, and the winner wins and the loser loses, and there's going to be blood, and
I'm just saying more from a standpoint of just stand up for yourself. Don't
just stand up for yourself. I mean, I'm not a guy that's on. I know what fighting is about. I mean, look at this face. It's been pulverized a half a dozen times, a dozen times. Look at it.
Yeah.
Don't you think every person in the world tried to punch his nose?
Yeah, I've been sucker punched 2 or 3 times. But every time I got sucker punched, I just got up and like, yeah, I'm okay. That's all you got. It's like it felt like a slap, I didn't feel like a punch. I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'm okay. Like a couple, I was playing pickup basketball, the guy sucker punched me. Because I used to play. I played physical style. That was my style. I wasn't. I just like to get in there and get rebounds, and he sucker. I just get up and. But we thought with my buddy and I, we had just had a theory like why do men act like why do they attack other men or whatever, right? And it's because they've never been. They don't know what it feels like to be punched, or that's why you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it to somebody else. You wouldn't attack other men, or.
Right. Sometimes with those things, man, nowadays, that whole idea of you can really violate someone's space with. I noticed the millennials, they don't think there's any repercussion for being crafty and cunning. Once you spot crafty and cunning and trying to take from you, or disrespecting you or something like that, they don't think they deserve to get punched for that. No, you're being equally. I think Kant said it the best when he said, when you lie like that, when you present a lie and you make a person a slave to that lie. So when you're crafty and cunning and you lie like that, you're making a person a slave to that lie. And if you don't think you deserve to get punched for that, or some violent action is not going to happen, or you think that you're above that, or some law that says that no one's allowed to do that, but you're allowed to be crafty and cunning. No,
Right.
it doesn't. The world doesn't work like that, because what you're doing is you're extending the chains of morality so you can get what you want when you do that, and that's at other people's expense.
Mm-hmm.
But that seems to be the way capitalism teaches people to act nowadays.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can be crafty and cunning and con people and lie and cheat and steal and do it that way, there's something better about that rather than just physical force. No, there's nothing better about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. What you just said, like,
yeah, there has to be some.
You wouldn't act that way. You wouldn't act that way. Right.
Yeah, just because one thing is harder to explain or articulate than the other doesn't mean it's less dishonest.
Right. Yeah, it happens a lot, I think.
And I think physical force is really honest. There's a certain honesty in it.
Yeah. They don't. They overstep their boundaries and.
Yes, if they're greedy, or you notice these attributes in them, you got to make it stop. And unless you exert some kind of action to make it stop, it's not going to stop. I think that's with our government too. They're so involved in being crafty and cunning, how to make us pay their resources, that they don't think we have a right to make them stop.
Yeah.
And there will be actions sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
But we live in a society that's that nonviolent, violent. You wouldn't need to be violent if these people weren't such assholes, like we were talking about.
Right.
I was like, well, I mean, and I know being an asshole is subjective in a way. It's like, you just ignore it. No, I can't ignore it, because people that are crafty and cunning that are assholes are usually trying to take from you.
Right.
And that's where it's equal to force. It's a sort of force. It has the same attributes. It has the same end game.
Mm-hmm.
It has the same end game as a mugger in the street. He's trying to take something from you too. He just does it really quickly.
Right. It's like the stock market. I see the stock market is the same way.
Yeah. They're trying to.
This Dogecoin. It's a
slow game, and it's
clearly a Ponzi scheme. If no one.
Yeah. Is that any less than the mugger on the street and the banks? Do it.
Because how does crypto? Look at crypto. Like last year, I think it was. I know it was under 10,000. I think now it's 60,000. I mean, which is, I guess that's only 6 times the amount. But even like Facebook, like 10 years ago, was like a $15, $20 stock. Now it's like almost $300.
Yeah.
They make all this money on. They make all this. That's the thing. That's the 401k. The 401k is the same way. It's like, it's just a way.
Right.
They're trying to take your money, so they come up with these crafty ways to take your money, whether it's a Roth IRA or 401k. Because what they do is they take your money. So I was like telling my uncle's like, oh, I'm happy getting 8-9% a year, and I was telling him, I said, well, yeah, okay, you get 8-9%, but the money that you're making, they're getting 80-90% off of
right,
that.
yeah.
The money you're giving them, or whatever, $100,000 or whatever it is, like they're making them $2 million, $3 million, $4 million off of your $100,000 that you think you're smart, but they're the ones, they're setting up these systems to separate you from your labor, like right?
Yeah. Pre 1994 or something, or 2004 or something, you would have thought Yahoo was a good bet, and a lot of people were invested in Yahoo.
Right. Or look at Sears. Look at Sears. Sears was a $60 stock, and you can look it up. 10 years ago, it was a
Yeah,
$60 stock. Now they went bankrupt.
yeah. Look at until Alyssa Myers came, people lost their houses, people lost their their that nobody thinks that's that's what's eventually entropy comes to all these things. Yahoo was at one time gonna is gonna be the next Google, and they could have been, but it seemed to be planned to all that money doesn't all that brick and mortar just kind of it didn't go anywhere. It just got sold off by the company, and it got dissolved by the employees that were higher up, and the money
Right.
went somewhere else rather than to the people that invested in it.
Right. There's
It was,
definitely insiders there. That yeah.
yeah,
There's
there was a shift.
definitely like you're a sucker if you don't think there's insider trading. There's
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's going to happen to Google eventually. It's going to happen to Bitcoin eventually. It's going to happen to their entropy comes to everything, especially when especially when in this society of real estate where the most powerful people own these things, and all the brick and mortar will go to them, and then you just end up with the debt. That's what happened to Maya. That's what they did to me with Enron, and that's what they did to me with I acquired the debt, they acquired the property.
Yeah. You got to be careful when it comes to money because there's a lot of energy that's expended to get it. Your time and effort and lifestyle adjustments, whatever, right? And so you have to be very smart and can't let these people take advantage of you because they will. I mean, and ultimately that's why. I mean, I think that's why we're here. I think it's to protect men from women. I think it's probably the number one thing, but also the other parts too. Like we talk about like protecting ourselves from like financial institutions, government, whatever. They're just because they're all because I like this guy used to play poker with like in L.A. He's pretty smart. He says they're just trying to get your money. This guy was retired.
You get your money.
And
That's it.
he's probably about your he's probably about 10 years older than you. And he goes, listen, buddy. He was drunk though at the time. Because listen, buddy, they're just trying to get your money.
Yeah.
And it's a simple statement, but it's so true. Because that's all people mostly a lot of times that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with these a lot of these books you see on like what do you call it? Like these like alien books, all kind of shit. Like these website, like these YouTube sites that try to like say all these things going on in the world that don't even exist.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're just trying to take your money.
They're just trying to get revenues by however they can, and that's
Right.
a sad fact about human nature. The dark side of human nature is that's what people do. They try to acquire resources.
Right. They're just trying to get your money, and that's a good line, and it's an important thing to know. It's an important thing to know.
Yeah, it's important to know that that's what's happening here, and once you realize that as a MGTOW, you put yourself in a better position, a more risk-free position. And every time somebody comes to you with an awesome deal or something, you can say, "You're just trying to get my money."
Yeah, and that's what Marcus Aurelius would say. Like he would simplify.
Just there hasn't been a financial institution since 1929. The next best deal, the next best great stock buy that hasn't folded up and took all the money.
Right, like Dustin Hoffman.
Show me one that's still around that hasn't folded up.
Remember that?
It's going to continue happening that way because that's the game. That's the Ponzi scheme.
Remember Dustin Hoffman, the Graduate? Plastics. He was the future. You remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that line? Do you remember that line at all in the Graduate? He goes plastics. The future's
in plastics. Yeah.
So it's like, well, yeah. So like now they're doing it with these EV cars, and I don't know.
I mean, there's going to be a market if you're in there for the EV and everything. There will
the EV because the gas prices, they don't want to pay for the gas.
Yeah, we're running out of dino fuels, and there's going to be a market. It's going to happen. Don't think it's not. It's going, and that's going to be the next market. And if you're in on it, then you're pretty good. But I can't afford to be in on it now because of the last deals that didn't go down right. The entropy is entropy.
Yeah, but you're right. They're just trying to get your money, and it's really sad state of affairs. that we live in this world. But
Yeah,
that's why self-preservation to me, MGTOW is a lot of things, but one of them is definitely self-preservation and survival. I think it's definitely that might be number one, right? I mean, to me, quality of life is
right. Quality. You
tied
got to
into
start
that.
looking at.
Yeah,
We look at Bitcoins and we look at money as in that represents a value. Now, if you look at quality of life as representing a value, that becomes your money, that becomes your stock, and that will make you happier because you have more control. You have total control over that as a MGTOW.
that's right. That's right.
And
No dependence.
nobody else can take that.
I'm surprised. I had a guy, so I called the Pisons back in the East Coast today, and this guy Vinny, this old Guinea, he's probably, I don't know, he's retired, old guy, but he knew, like I couldn't believe he knew all this stuff about. He wasn't talking about MGTOW. I never talked to him about MGTOW, but he was telling me to be careful out there with the women and stuff. He goes, women's like it's a loaded gun. He like all the stuff that we said, loaded gun. You're handing him a loaded gun. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
surprised. He goes, hey, just go. He said, go take a hot shower. He said something else. I'm not a little more vulgar. I'm not gonna say it, but you just figure out what it is, right?
Yeah.
But do that instead of dating. And I said, and like this guy had to be probably close to 80 years old or something. But he has a broken English, Italian guy, and it's like, man, it's like I can't believe he I don't know how long it took him to figure it out, but I was like, that like was a good encouragement to me to hear it from him because he's a lot older than me, probably a lot wiser.
Yeah, I think every man eventually, after his immaturity wears off, they get a MGTOW attitude, and it comes out, and it kind of represents itself as a MGTOW attitude, and you go, yeah.
Well, that's what I think you were talking about today was harm reduction. You mentioned that. That's what.
Yeah, harm reduction. It's like you have to do harm reduction in your life, and
yeah. That's why I tell you what. That's why, like I've had a couple situations with these cars. Like the people out here are crazy with the cars. You know what? I just they want to provoke me. I'm not going to let them provoke me. I'm not going to get it. And what I'm trying to get at is I'm not going to get in arguments with people. I don't argue with people.
Right. That was the biggest thing in my life. I had to learn. It's like I always I told the story early in my MGTOW career. Is my brother used to those Hot Wheel tracks, those old plastic Hot Wheel tracks. He used to he used to run in and he would whack me in the face with the Hot Wheel track, and then he would drop it and he'd run out towards my mother. And then I'd pick up like an jackass. I'd pick up the Hot Wheel track and run after him. Then he'd go, "Mom, Joe's hitting me with the Hot Wheel track." And I used to fall for that every time. That's life. I used to fall for that. I don't fall for that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, even yesterday, my car was overheating in the desert yesterday. So I pulled it over, let it cool off a little bit. And because I called AAA. And the guy in AAA was like a spaz, he's acting all spazzy. And I said, listen, man. I said, will you please calm down? I said, I'm not in a hurry here. I'm not. I said, I'm the one with the car broken down. He's the one acting spazzy. I said, listen. I said, will you please just calm down? I said, you need to calm down. I'm not going to argue with you. I said, if I have to wait here 5 hours, I'll wait here 5 hours. It's not a big deal. I had to calm him down because he almost like he wanted to argue with me.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere particularly fast.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I got all day here. It's like that's harm reduction too. Is just the getting in those little squabbles with people.
Right.
Whether it's a bill it looks like a little high or whatever the situation is. It's like I'm not going to squabble with people. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's not because it's harm reduction. I'm hurting myself if I do.
That's my story about you're pulling out of a parking lot. Someone cuts you off. You yell at them. They yell at you. He goes one way. You're going down the highway 5 miles in a different direction and still yelling. You're only hurting yourself.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
I mean, forget that. Let it go. There's a lot of things in life just to let go.
Right. The only time I'll do something, somebody puts their hands on me or threatens me physically, then okay, whatever. That's
right.
Different.
Then you're gonna have to break the fingers.
Yeah, I don't care about verbal stuff. People want to talk shit. I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm out here.
Yeah, I don't really care. It's like until you do something, I'm not gonna do. We'll let it go. I'll let it go. But that's a very important concept too, the harm reduction. That's why we don't do the long-term date. Even the short-term dating, I'm starting to
Right.
think not
Yeah.
really good either. I'm starting to see no value in that either. I've done some in the past, like the short-term, thing. But quite right now, I have no contact with any women, and it's great,
Yeah.
And
My 200 miles in a fake ID, carry a condom.
yeah,
That's all harm reduction. That's all sensible harm reduction. And
yeah,
you got, as a MGTOW, you should practice those things. And
yeah, yeah,
if you're going to go do that, life's complicated sometimes, and
yeah,
those things.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
be in better. It's like don't use rusty needles if you're gonna shoot heroin.
yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah,
Your needles with people, that's harm reduction. If you're going to drink, don't drink and drive, that's harm reduction. Apply all those things, but harm reduction for MGTOW and gender dynamics is the same way. It has the same ideas. Put yourself in a good, consider yourself as a human. Put yourself in the best possible. Don't go out when you don't need to go out.
yeah,
Don't bring things in your house. Don't bring snakes into your house. Don't
yeah.
don't pet snakes.
Right. Good point. Good point. Yeah, there's a lot of things we can apply. Yeah.
And then things work out better that way. And
Yeah.
if you're
Well, it's quality of life. I think it goes back to quality of life. You want
yeah,
to.
the quality of life will
Yeah, life should
improve.
be fun. Life should be fun. It shouldn't
That
be.
should be
I mean,
fun.
right. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be this constant struggle and slavery type lifestyle. It's not
Yeah,
really what we intended to live.
I mean,
For.
take advantage of all the assets in America too. I mean, I went out to dinner today. I didn't eat a kale salad. I mean,
Yeah.
I got something really good. I got some Vietnamese lo mein and some a bunch of stuff, and it was good. Life was good for a while, and
That's right.
make the most of it. And
Well, I tell you, the stuff that you taught me really like just being considerate in terms of like I appreciate your help and
I appreciate
those
that.
little comments. Like people's eyes light up when they hear it, and
Yeah,
I say it every time now. It's become a habit. Like I was at Walmart.
do that. The first thing I do to the waitress is be bright and cheery and say, "Wow, thanks, I appreciate that. Great, that was great. Thanks for the coffee." And then she's happy to serve you.
Right. It makes her day better. It
Makes
makes
her
her
day
day.
better. It makes your day better. She goes home
Yeah.
happy. You get a great meal, and you're happy, and it works out for everybody.
It's good for business, and it's also good.
Good for
Like
business.
they feel good about themselves,
They
and
feel good about
going
themselves.
back to work. They got to go back to that place the next day, and you might make their jobs better, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many assholes that walk into that, and then also one asshole, and then she's acting standoffish and mad, and then you're not getting the service you should be getting, and it dissolves the quality of the interactions in the restaurant, and it's like there's a wasted afternoon then. It's like just because one bad apple spoils the whole bunch. I hate to say that, but don't be that bad apple. I mean, try to be a positive influence wherever you go.
That's right. That's how you make a difference.
Yeah, that's next time you come around, they'll remember you. People always remember really nice people.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, these masks are really starting to piss me off now because it's harder to communicate those expressions of smiling at people and even
Yeah,
saying something to them, and because you can't hear what they're saying sometimes with the mask on. You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's
I mean,
like,
those
and then
people.
you smile and you can't see the smile. It's like, it's like all
Yeah,
this kind of stuff.
yeah. I mean, does there? I mean, these people. Does these people have value in your life?
Um, well, I'm just saying in general, just like,
Yeah, I mean, I separate people. There's normal people, and they have no value in my life, and
yeah.
whatever they do really doesn't matter. If like a waitress has a value, and the
Oh
storekeeper
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
value.
with that guy today, he didn't fix my car because he's just like he's
Yeah,
pretty much he's pretty much because I used to go to this place and they used to give me like cheap tires and whatever $20 a tire. It's like
yeah.
okay, because I think most of them are all illegals and stuff.
Okay.
working there, but I know I'll get a good deal. And so I go there and I say, hey, I got the problem with my hood. Because I just want to check the fluids. I just want to check the coolant and get the oil change. I don't
Yeah,
give a shit if the hood's down as long as the oil's good and the coolant's full, and then that's it. You don't really. How often do you really open your hood? Unless there's a serious problem, right?
right.
Hardly ever. So he couldn't do it, and but I saw how hard he was working trying to fix it, and I just appreciated his effort. Even though he didn't fix it,
Right. He made an
I
effort.
gave him $40. I gave him $40. He was so happy. It's like, man, it's like, my father was a laborer, man. It's like, I appreciate you even trying, and
Yeah, he
now he gave me, yeah. So now it's his age. The other mechanic, because he's not really a mechanic, this kid, right? He's just a whatever apprentice or whatever he is. He said, stop by tomorrow. Says the pro mechanic will be here. So now I'm gonna go there tomorrow, and I guarantee he's gonna
right.
tell him, hey, this guy was here yesterday, blah 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 blah, and I'll probably be in and out of there in less than an hour.
Yeah, yeah, and it'll pay off, and you get some value out of that, and that's
Right, I
okay.
get some value. We had a nice conversation, and trying to throw some MGTOW stuff at him. He's 18,
Yeah,
and
it wasn't a bad day, and a good day.
what
That's
what I said to him was I said, man, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, but you know what, I already hit a grand slam because I never got married, I had no children.
yeah,
I told my age, I'm mid 40s. He's like, so he was like kind of laughing, but hey, maybe it sticks. It sticks, I already won in life, So I
yeah,
hope it makes you won, and so you try to spread those truths to people. Women are dependents, stuff like that. Like that's stuff that men need to hear.
yeah, yeah. It keeps them safer and happier and better off and more financially, in tune with life, and that's good. It doesn't hurt anybody. MGTOW doesn't hurt anybody.
No, I think they're jealous at the end of the
They're
day, Joe.
jealous. Yeah, I do think.
Those are,
I think they want us to act like they want us to act. They want us in that simping mode, that because that's useful for them. You become you become their service. You become, that's how the world works. Is the male, he volunteers everything, he gives everything, and then that becomes useful to people that can't.
well, you saw that Joseph Campbell thing. I don't know if you agree with what I don't know if he's a track record, but he was
Oh
talking about following your bliss. Your MGTOW. You didn't say MGTOW bliss, but that's something I made up with. Follow your bliss.
yeah,
And I think there's a lot because he was talking about that one guy, like he never did anything he wanted to do his whole life.
right, yeah, that's why most males are. They never did anything they want to do their whole life, and then they wonder who they are at the end of their lives. They never found any uniqueness in themselves.
Yeah, his Joseph Campbell message is follow your bliss. I mean, obviously you don't want to be reckless and you want to
Yeah,
practice
yeah,
perfection.
you
At
don't
the
want to
same
be.
time, hey, follow where you want to go. Like where's your heart leading you to go? And
Yeah,
yeah,
kayaking around the world would be a little, dangerous, but
yeah, yeah,
keep, if you can do it, that's fine. But don't be irrational about what you can do and what you can't do. I'm not, I struggle with that all the time. I want to take that 1,400-mile ride, and that's not something that I may be able to do. I have to
yeah,
I have to assess the situation,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because when I get out there, there's nobody. It's like here, there's nobody here for me. If I fall over, I have to take care of myself. When I'm out there, there's nobody there for me. I have to, if something happens, I'm stranded. I'm dead on the road.
Yeah.
That's something that you have to take in consideration.
Yeah, but I think that's a good way of looking at life. Doing what you want to do. I mean, because I used to take trips like just spontaneously, like middle of the night where I drive, from like
Right? Yeah, you could do that if you are.
yeah, and my friends who were more trad cucky or like PUAs, they're like, well, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Yeah.
They were like, they're like, oh, everything okay? Like, well, you're just taking these trips out of nowhere. When I was out in Phoenix, and so I used to go to Vegas, I was bored. I just go to sleep for a couple days. I wouldn't tell anybody. It's like, first of all, it's none of their business, but the main thing is like, they it's almost like they were jealous that I was like doing the spontaneous things, right? Because I just felt like doing it. Good.
Yeah, there
They
will
had
be people
girlfriends or
that,
wives or whatever, right?
yeah, they want you to live their life like they live their life, and you
Yeah.
know, it's, it becomes important to them. I think we get that in MGTOW when we, why are you people coming around bothering us, and why is it important to you that
Yeah.
we live like you? But you
Yeah.
know, they don't see how absurd that is.
I do think it's ultimately jealousy or envy or jealous. I don't know. I forget what the difference was is between those two, envy and jealousy.
Jealousy, yeah, envy's
Look,
totally
there's a slight
different.
difference. What's the slight? Do you know it? What's the slight difference? There's a
The,
slight difference.
yeah, jealousy's more of a morality ethics code, and envy, well, envy too, but envy is envy is your you desire something. Jealousy's more like you own something.
Oh, okay.
Well, you
Yeah.
feel you own something.
I think that's what it is. I think they see that I think the joy that most MGTOW have. I think they see that and they don't know how to get it or they don't understand it. I don't know. I think there's something to that because I see it too often. It's like okay, so I lived East Coast, for 20 something years, right? Now I was on the West Coast for 10 years. Then I went back to East Coast for 3 years. Back to the West Coast for 3 years. Back to the East Coast for another 2 years. Back now I'm back to the West Coast.
Okay.
So people like not that I give a shit what anyone thinks, but hey, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go back and forth, and I'm
Yeah.
experiencing both coasts. That's what I want to do. And but some, not that like they said their opinions don't matter, but they look at that like, oh, this guy's fucking. What's he always all over the place?
Yeah.
One place to live and blah blah blah, whatever, right?
Hey, it makes you happy, and do it. People can't say they do that.
Yeah, yeah. Follow your bliss.
Yeah.
Follow your hygiene. Is that
Yeah,
mentioned? That was
there's a certain truth in Buchananism, where not the Buchananism, the Nazism, but the Buchananism that Kurt Varnick says. Sometimes you just go with things and see where they go, for
yeah,
curiosity's sake.
yeah, yeah. And that's when you're living. And I was just gonna say again, and you gotta follow your hygiene too, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
There's a
I mean that sometimes it'll take you to the most wonderful places. Sometimes it'll be, hey, it's this is if it's normal, it's normal. If it doesn't excite you, just move along. But
yeah,
sometimes the way you're going to see something is just to follow that instinct or whatever it is. Sometimes, I mean, he says it like, if someone comes over and says, "Hey, we're just going out to take a bus trip up to," and for no reason at all, just do it, and
yeah.
for no reason,
I've done that. I've done that in the city I was in. I haven't,
just
like
follow.
I just take the bus sometimes just to see what's going on. Like, I do
Yeah,
it like every 2 or 3 years.
yeah, Kurt Varnick. I can't remember the couple was on. They were the Buchananist, and he was on a train, and he asked him, "Why are you on this train?" He says, "Because my friend wanted to do this." And he says, "So you just did it?" And he says, "Yeah, we're Buchananists. We just go with it and see where it leads to."
Right, right, right. That's a good philosophy.
Yeah, and if it's fun, it's fun. If we see new things, what can go wrong?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if you're single like us too, that's okay. Sure, yeah, I've got nothing but time.
I mean, nothing used to bother me more than these married guys. Like, oh, I got to check in with my wife and see if I can.
Yeah, I don't have to check in with my wife to see if I can go
Yeah.
do something interesting.
I mean, I have a friend like he has a girlfriend. And oh, I got to check in with her. He goes, you don't understand. He goes, she tracks me everywhere I go.
Probably does too.
Yeah, she tracks him on Facebook or something, or like, and then, I don't know. I think he goes, I think she's got a tracker on my phone. I'm
Yeah,
like,
my
are
buddy
you
told me
freaking crazy? You're living in a prison.
his girlfriend's got a tracker on her phone, and she checked it 50 times in one day.
That's psychopathic. I mean, that's not normal. And then it begs the question: well, why are you dating her? Right? Like, why are you dating?
Yeah, why are you doing that? That's
What? It's just low self-esteem. Is that too simplistic of an answer, or what is it?
I don't know. they go along with it because they want what they want. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
there's a lot of reasons they build up that fantasy fiction that the he's running under the impulses of that picket fence and that big house and the kids and the dog and everything's going to be perfect and it's finally going to fulfill his fucked up childhood.
yeah. I baked an apple pie for you, honey.
Yeah, she's going to be standing there with that apple pie, like I baked this before, and it's just 8 hours without you here was like fucking maddening. No, that's not real.
No. And then we'll have marathon sex all night.
Yeah, Dostoevsky, the opposite of that is Dostoevsky talking about you look inside that house, and then once you get inside, things change. you That house owns you then, and you're under that. Those people weren't the greatest people, and the house owns you, and there's yelling and screaming, and
That's right. When the tax bills come in, it's not fun, and low stress, is a good thing. You know,
that's
I mean,
why.
it's not easy. I mean, you just have to, keep learning, I think, and uh, you know, but it's unfortunate we don't have enough MGTOW that have done a lot of a
Right? Yeah, it's a
lot of work for us. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these guys that even Campbell, he was married. Joseph Campbell, Follow Your Bliss. I mean, but that's a different time. You give guys like him a pass. He was born in the I think I want to say early 1900s.
yeah. He still believes in that, and as
He
long as
passed away. He died, I think, 80s or I don't know, something like that.
as long as it doesn't hurt him and he's got it under control, I guess. But it's all great, fine, and dandy until it hurts you, and then you become one of the
Well, it,
86%.
yeah. And I told him, I said, "You're gonna lose all your friends, man." And I think he knew I think he knew what I meant.
Yeah, yeah,
You're gonna lose me as a friend. That's pretty much what I was telling him. So it's about that time. I'm not gonna put up with it. Because he used to do like crazy stuff. He used to take like pictures of we go out to eat and he'd take a picture of me. So why are you taking a picture of me? What are you doing? What you doing? Oh, I got to send it to my girlfriend that she doesn't believe that I'm with you.
that's
I,
crazy.
I was like, are you okay? Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'm going to cut off this friendship I had with the guy for 15 years. I mean, he's a good guy, but he's just, when it comes to women, he just doesn't get it. Just,
Yeah, there's no way to live. That's the soap analogy. First, it's that, and every little thing starts being a little less, and then it's her soap, it's her towels, it's her carpet, it's her colors on the walls, and nothing is left of you around. And your friends are gone because they don't like being under constant scrutiny.
no, and I don't think it's a good idea to have friends like that. And he's like the only one left, I think, pretty much, where I have a friend like that.
Yeah, you can't have strippers over. It's like Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, like a hygiene culinary stripper.
Yeah,
What's the story behind that? What's the story behind the hygiene and culinary thing?
hygiene and personal hygiene and culinary coach.
Yeah. Was that Vention? He had a video on that or something? I didn't
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
it.
there was a personal hygiene video that was made, and the culinary coaches like they're cooking burgers, and this MGTOW. I was just making fun of that. It's so
Yeah.
it's so I don't know. It's so
MGTOW light, like you said, they're MGTOW light. I mean,
it's
you remember when I first came in this, like how I mean, I was immature, okay, granted, but I was like, hey, whatever, right? Women are a-holes, blah blah blah,
yeah,
whatever. I think
real.
I've evolved a little bit more, but not really that much. I still have that core where I know what it's all about. And with these other guys, yeah, exactly, they're MGTOW lighters.
Yeah, I mean, I cooked burgers the other day, and I didn't feel a need to put it up like it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me, and make a
Yeah.
YouTube video about it and say that that's MGTOW because it's not. It's just I've just cooked burgers outside. It was no big deal. I
Well,
mean,
there's always that "don't get married" message, which is definitely positive.
yeah, Now there's a whole soap is killing you and they're poisoning you through no, man. It's like
Nope. Yeah, it's not.
there's always something that.
Oreo cookies now. There you're talking. I mean, have you ever looked at the ingredients on Oreo cookies? It's like,
Yeah, I haven't had Oreo cookies for a while. Jeez, it's like
wow. It's like high corn fructose syrup. They got soy. Like JK and I were talking. I think I was talking to JK about it. Like, what's the most unhealthy food in the supermarket? And like, I was at Whole Foods. I was expecting like these like utopian foods and all this stuff, and it's just total garbage.
I don't know. I was in there a little while ago. I just didn't like the experience.
Yeah, yeah. It's very, very.
I like the Apple's experience, Apple supermarket experience.
Oh, okay. Apple. Never heard of it. We had
Yeah,
Sprouts too.
yeah. It's just I there's very few.
I just like going to the diner and ordering quesadillas. You got some quesadillas, and hopefully you can cook them well. I just dip them in the salsa with the salad. That's my cheat day, or I'll have wings. The problem with the wings is the vegetable oil or the oils they use
Yeah,
for.
most of the time I eat out anyways, and when I'm home, it's just like I
Yeah,
keep I buy the big family packs of the chicken breast, and then I freeze
yeah,
one in a bag,
yeah,
and I cut
yeah.
them in half, and I fry them, and I make a chicken sandwich at night. That's what I do when I'm home.
But I'll tell you, yeah, exactly, exactly. Keep it simple. The thing is, if you ever like raw eggs, there's like something about raw eggs
Yeah,
that just there's like a lot of nutrition in it. So it's like people have like reverse diseases from raw eggs.
yeah.
So
If you
this,
drink a raw egg, you take about a half a teaspoon or a quarter teaspoon of vitamin C, drop it in the raw egg, use the whisker, not a whisker, an immersion blender, and blend it till it fluffs up a little bit, and that emulsifies the limonene in it. The vitamin C bonds to it, and then put it in what you want to do and eat it, and you'll get like the benefits of like being able to take in 10 times the amount of vitamin C than you usually would.
uh-huh.
And that's a chemical process. So you have to learn about those things. And that's in the egg yolk. The egg yolk, and you can use I use the immersion blender, and but you can use a, a jewelry cleaner. Put the egg yolk in and run it for a while in there with the vitamin C, and it changes the structure of the vitamin C, bonds to it, and you can take it into your body. So that's really good for you. And I've never really seen if it does it with vitamin D or vitamin A or how to take those things in more. I just kind of focus on C. But but
Yeah. There's not a lot of good foods in the supermarket. Unfortunately, there's just not. I mean, these pastas, like carbs, and
yeah, carbs. I like
I
carbs.
haven't had a piece of candy in 5 months now. So,
Have you? No,
well, like maybe one piece. I
I
gotta.
can't make it by the compulsive buying section. I'm just too compulsive. It's like
Yeah, I used to love those Andes candies. Like they.
I tried quitting sugar like last week I told you, and then the week before I didn't do the sugar, but that fake sugar fucks my coffee up so much. It tastes like shit.
Oh, oh yeah. What like Equal or something?
Yeah, that stuff tastes like shit. And man,
Well, it's got doesn't it have aspartame in it and shit. I don't know. It's like,
yeah, there was a flour my buddy was telling me about today. It's a Japanese flour that's a sweetener, and it tasted pretty good because I had some in tea today. And
yeah,
so I have to figure out which one that was.
Japanese flour.
Yeah, I think I can't remember. It's a common Japanese flower you see in Japanese art. Chrysanthemum or something like that. I can't remember which one it was.
Is it a claranthemum?
Claranthemum, and it just sweetens up the whole thing. I had some today. I have to figure that out which one he's talking about. I'll ask him tomorrow and try to see if that'll do my coffee.
Yeah.
But I like my coffee. You know how I am about my coffee. It's one of those things that I like it the way I like it, and I'm not going to change. And that's what I do it because it's a symbol of me
Yeah.
having this freedom to do it.
Yeah, yeah. What were you saying about coffee and if someone doesn't how's it go with the psychopath? Like if they're
Oh, you could tell when you could tell psychopaths in life because psychopaths like bitter foods. It's in the brain. They like bitter food, so the bitterer the coffee, like Folgers or some nasty coffee, they'll like it, and then that's how you can tell a psychopath. People that you watch people that coffee snobs are usually people that are that don't like bitter coffee, so that tells about their personality and their brain structure. Psychopaths, they'll sit there and drink Maxwell House, and it's the worst shit in the whole world, and it's bitter, and it's or bitter foods. If you notice a friend eating bitter foods and liking it, well, he's probably a psychopath.
At what point do we blame the brain chemistry and DNA, and do we blame the person for being an asshole? Like, what's the? How do you draw the line there?
How do I draw the line? Well, there is brain chemistry involved with that. Some people were born with malfunctional brains, and you have to forgive them for that. But try to get them help and everything. But I think it's when, like I was talking about, the people that are crafty and cunning, and they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's when it's non-forgivable.
Like,
And they're disregarding the idea that you're human, or if someone dehumanizes you. And psychopaths, I have a lot of friends that were psychopaths, and they would do things but they never really hurt me.
Yeah, well, they knew better.
Yeah, I mean, there was something about me
I got lucky too. I never really got. I did some self-inflicted wounds, right? Yeah. Where I got involved with some business deals that didn't pan out, but they weren't really robbing me. I just sabotaged myself,
Yeah.
No one ever stole from me, or because I think there's a certain.
No, if there was one person in my life that I knew that once it couldn't hurt me, it was them. They would often tell me, "I love you, Joe." It's just it's your personality. I mean, maybe I got that personality, that honesty thing that I do. That psychopaths kind of like me because it's that honesty, because they're bluntly honest. They're just trying to manipulate things because they don't know how to. Some people say they don't know how to love. I think they do know how to love. I just don't think they know the difference between right and wrong. There is no differences between those things with them.
Yeah. I think Black Wolf wanted to get in. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the chat.
Yeah, we've gone we're at the end anyway. Right?
Sorry, I don't know if you want to bring him in. I don't know if it's too late, it's your chat. I don't know. Yeah, I just saw the chat.
I'm getting tired anyways, and it's maybe next time we'll probably do like a couple this week, because I'm kind of on a roll now, and we'll talk about
I didn't see it. Sorry, Black Wolf. Yeah, I didn't see it.
A bunch of I was kind of not looking myself, and I try not to look at the chat while I'm talking, because if I'm looking at the chat, I'm not talking.
We have to get him in. Yeah. But I know I'm the same way. I try not to. I'm just talking on the phone. I'm not looking at the chat.
Yeah, because if I see something, I'll go, and then I'll stop talking, and it disrupts the show.
Yeah, but that's interesting. The psychopath, sociopath phenomenon.
Yeah, psychopaths are really interesting. They're interesting people, and I think narcissists are very much more dangerous than psychopaths. And
okay. What's the difference between? How would you say? How would you say the difference? Psychopath, narcissist.
A narcissist he's just everything's about him. It's narcissist. He's looking down into a pool. All he sees is himself, and he'll do everything for himself. He'll do, he or she, whatever it is. But like I said, narcissism is always, nowadays, male aggression and male ego is considered narcissism, and that couldn't be farther from the truth.
Yeah. Well, I just call them a-holes. I mean, it's just just surround yourself with people that aren't a-holes, and then
you can choose not to have these people in your life too. And
exactly.
I think that's why sociopaths have a really purpose. They've always had a purpose for me.
Yeah,
they're very purpose driven, and if you need a sociopath, you need a sociopath in your life. Sometimes you just have to put an end to certain things, and that's when they come in handy. But a narcissist,
I quit a 6-figure job because I couldn't. I didn't want to work with this psychopath. I just didn't want to work with him.
yeah, no, a
He
narcissist.
was my boss. He happened to be my boss, and the old boss left, and this dipshit comes in, and I didn't want to work with him. I just said, "Fuck it, I don't need your fight. I mean, I need the money, but I need it, but I don't need it." So I was like, fuck you. I said, I'm not working with you.
Right. Most likely, a narcissist, when you need him, he's not going to be there for you, and that's the kind of people you don't want around.
Right. I have a family member like that, unfortunately.
Just because someone's a psychopath doesn't mean that they're not useful.
Right. That's Well, fortunately, that's I think a small percentage of the world we live in. I don't think it's anything that you got to be aware of it, but I wouldn't fear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the guys like us don't have to fear it. That's for damn sure.
As I get older, I start fearing. I've never been fearful of anything in my life, but as I get older, and that's why I often say I have no intention of making it one day past 60. There's things that I have to start being careful about.
Yeah.
I can't fight with a young guy anymore. I can't.
No, I know. I was just gonna say that. It's like I messed up and I pinched that nerve in my back, and I can't.
Yeah, I can't.
I got numbness in my foot, and I don't. I can probably get a little adrenaline kick if I need to defend myself.
Yeah, like I say, I keep the brass knuckles and the pepper spray in my pocket for a reason, because I can't afford to get in a scrap with people anymore. I mean,
I had my Glock by my side, and I drove cross country. I had it right in the console. I don't give a shit. I'll deal with consequences later.
I wish I could get a concealed carry here, and I could probably do open.
Listen, if you're driving cross country and you don't have a concealed carry, I have a right to. I think that's an inherent right to defend myself.
Right. I wish I could do like an open carry with a little 22 or something, just to make sure I'm safe. That would make me feel better. Because the people that are there that keep me safe would be the cops, would only show up 10 minutes late.
Well, it's funny. My heart rate goes up when I see them, because I know how stupid they are. And then
and then if they see me with an open carry, they're going to be like, drawing a gun on me because they're stupid.
They're fucking stupid, and they're stupid. That's why I'm super respectful if I ever get pulled over, which I don't get pulled over a lot, but it happens sometimes, and you're right. They have guns. Like you said, that we should be a little alert when they're around, because. But I try to avoid them. I'm always darting my eyes. I look at the road pretty well, and if I see a cop in the vicinity, I go the other way. I try to go the other way. I'll just swing around. I'm not dealing with this nonsense.
Yeah, they have really not a lot of purpose in our society anymore, and they're starting to feel that now. And that goes back to what I say about society. They become self-interested, and they're not there for the people. They're there for themselves now. They're there to get paid. And that's all the program has become.
That's why the community's got to get tighter. I'm in a pretty tight community, like where I am now, but the West Coast is different. People are not as like the East Coast, smaller towns. Everyone they all know each. They all because usually it's not as transient. The cities on the East Coast, the smaller towns. So like when I was in Central New York, oh my God, you see these guys are friends since they were 5 years old. These guys are in their 40s, my age, know each other for 40 years. And they're all friends.
It used to be in my neighborhood. We all knew each other for forever. And until I moved out here, I had to make new friends out here. Yeah. And I choose my friends carefully out here.
And I'm like jealous of these guys. I got to know some of those paisans in Central New York. I was like jealous of them. Like, you guys fucking knew each other as you were fucking 5 years old. And they own businesses together. They do shit together. They got each other's back. This one guy's sick. Oh, take it to the hospital. We'll give you a ride. Okay, where you got to go? We need a ride. Whatever you need. You know what I mean? It's like that's the way it should be. And it's just we're losing more and more of that, I think. And there's certain areas where you still
there's a certain MGTOW quality that you should be able to determine honest people in your life too, and make friends very quickly, and you determine dishonest people. We were talking about that yesterday, me and my friend. It's like there was a a guy that was taking advantage. Well, he wasn't taking advantage. He was being mean to everybody because he couldn't determine in his life who was evil and who was not evil, or who had good qualities and who had bad qualities. And he was like 60 years old. And it was like, at that age, it's only his own fault because the guy's a fucking moron. If at 60 years old, you can't determine people good qualities in life.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to grow. You got to get smarter as you get older.
Yeah. And you got to get older. You can you can come to a different neighborhood and make friends that at least be okay, to be around. Right. It's like people that don't have that quality to determine a good person from a bad person still. I mean, they're going to make bad choices, have bad friends, and then everybody loses.
Well, you can pick it up in their non-body language a lot of times, and
right, yeah.
It's a good way, and this is explained to me, and this is actually clinical, I think, too. Is it's not so much what they say, or what it's how do you feel when you're around that person?
Right, yeah.
And I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Like honor, there's a certain honor code among men too, and you go out to dinner, you buy once, and the next night, he's grabbing at the check. Well, he doesn't have to. He could stick you with the bill twice, but there's an honor code there where he's not going to do that. I determine friends like that. It's like, it's a give and take. It's reciprocity. There's a reciprocity in friendship.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, all right, man. I don't want to. I know 2 hours mark is your.
Yeah, 2 hours is pretty long, and we've been over a lot of stuff, and we'll have Black Wolf in one.
Yeah, we'll have Black Wolf on. Yeah, again. Yeah, sorry about that, buddy. I wasn't paying attention to the chat.
Couple videos this week, and have Black Wolf in.
Yeah, good live stream himself on his channel. I would recommend subscribing to his channel. Yeah, and I was listening to him. Even though he had some chick on there, I don't know.
She had some chick on there. Oh man.
I don't know. I don't know. It's like she was pretty smart, but woman talks. I just can't really take it.
Claire?
Claire's sister, from another planet. Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of like, hey, you know what I mean? I got what's it called? A little skeptical of any woman talking, but
Yeah.
But I'm trying to evolve, Joe. I'm trying to evolve here. So
yeah, voices just bother me, and I can't listen.
Yeah, but he had a group of guys on there that were pretty sharp, and
So the girl came in.
Yeah, she came in later, and I won't say her name. That's okay. I don't want to piss anybody off.
Was it Rose?
Yeah, no, he's got a good channel. I really like his stuff. I think he's got a lot of good ideas. I think he's got a lot of good ideas.
If she wanted to talk someday, she don't bother me.
Yeah. Well, I'm respectful. I tell you what, I'm respectful to all women. I want what's best for them too. But it's unfortunate.
I want best for them. I want them to do good.
Yeah. And we just know what's underneath that. Veneer. What's the word? Veneer? I don't know. We know what's underneath all that makeup. Or whatever.
Yeah. The better they do, the worse they want to hurt you.
Yeah,
they don't need you to be that guy they take advantage of because they can do it themselves.
No, I think they sense it. I think they sense it in us, don't they? I think they sense it.
Yeah.
But we're not that guy. We're not that guy that you're gonna take advantage of.
Yeah. So, if they're accountable, responsible for their bodies, and they do good, there's nothing wrong with that. But that's just hard to find. I've never seen one. I mean, that's a unicorn.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap this thing up because I really am getting tired.
All right. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It's good talking to you.
Okay. You take care. And thanks a lot for everybody coming around. And thanks a lot for being a MGTOW. Because without you, man, I would be the only MGTOW in the world, and that would suck. But thanks a lot for coming around. And most of all, just thanks a lot for being MGTOW.